Welcome to Learn Short and Typing with Vikas sir. The Hindu editorial dictation heading is big on hopes, shorts on ideas. जैसा कि आप सबको पता है कि कल जो बजट आया है, जो आज का जो न्यूज़पेपर आपका आर्टिकल हो या सारा जो न्यूज़पेपर आपको किस किस सेक्टर में कितना कितना बजट वहाँ पे डिवाइड किया गया है, उसी को लेकर ये आर्टिकल आपका काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग आर्टिकल है। और इसके जो वर्ड हैं आपको एग्ज़ाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखने को मिल सकते हैं। आपका मतलब एसएससी का आपका जो स्किल टेस्ट आएगा। चलिए, बिग ऑन होप्स शॉर्ट ऑन आइडियाज़। मतलब होप्स तो उम्मीदें तो काफ़ी अच्छी हैं, मतलब कि इस सेक्टर में ग्रोथ होगी, लेकिन जो शॉर्ट आइडियाज़ हैं क्या उनको वो आइडिया अपनाए जाएंगे, क्या अच्छी लाइफ होगी, बोले ये आर्टिकल उसी को लेकर दिया गया आपका। देखो क्या बोला है, द बजट एम्स टू फोकस ऑन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर। जो बजट का एम है इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे फोकस किया गया। एंड कनेक्टिविटी बट लैक्स यानी कि कमी ग्रोथ इनविगोरेटिंग प्रपोजल्स चाहिए। बी रेडी, स्टार्ट। फिनांस मिनिस्टर निर्मला सीतारमन's fourth successive budget, while commonsical in its approach, is not exactly bubbling with new ideas. With the economy still in search of durable momentum that could help entrench the recovery from the last fiscal year's record contraction, Mrs. Sitaraman has missed an opportunity to address the flagging consumer spending in the wake of erosion in real incomes and savings through a combination of tax breaks for the middle class and cash handouts for the poor. And even as the minister acknowledges the role public capital expenditure could play in crowding in private investment at a time when private investments seem to require that support and help to pump prime demand in the economy, that budget outlay of rupees 750 lakh crore for the capital account market marks just a 24.4% increase from the revised estimate of rupees 6.03 lakh crore for the current fiscal. To be sure, Ms. Sitaraman's speech highlights by the PM Gati Shakti, a transformative approach for economic growth and sustainable development that is to be powered by the seven engines of roads, railways, airports, ports, mass transport, waterways, and logistics infrastructure. While the broad sweep of the public infrastructure envisioned by the program could potentially be truly transformative if it were to be executed as imagined, the budget is largely short on details where it concerns the specifics and pencils in some figures only for the roads and railways components. The budget lists a master plan for expressways that will be formulated in 2022-23 under the scheme and projects the addition of rupees 25,000 kilometers of roads to the national highways network. The talk of enabling seamless multimodal movement of goods and people and providing multimodal connectivity between mass urban transit systems and railway stations, however, all sound a familiar refrain from past speeches. Spending outlays on several other key sectors, including health care, rural development, and the vital jobs and income providing National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, have all shrunk as a percentage of overall expenditure in the budget estimates for fiscal 2023 from the revised estimates for the current year, even in some cases only marginally. that these sectors have been forced to bear the impact of the government's keenness to broadly stick to a fiscal consolidation roadmap, with the budget projecting a narrowing of the fiscal deficit to 6.4% of GDP in 2022-23 from a revised estimate for 6.9%, reflects on its priorities. Government spending on health care ought to have instead been significantly increased, with the lessons from the ongoing pandemic's first two waves serving to illuminate the need for a sizable enlargement of the public health infrastructure. A source of some solace, though, is the announcement of National Mental Health Program to address mental health problems that have been exacerbated by the claustrophobic lockdowns and plethora of anxieties triggered by the pandemic. In a nod to the ruling party's nationalist moorings and in line with the government's push to increase self-reliance or Nirbharta, the finance minister has proposed a series of tariff and policy steps that could help bolster domestic manufacturing in the long run. A key policy element is a commitment to reduce import dependence in procurement for the country's defense forces. To that end, the minister has proposed earmarking 68% of the armed forces capital procurement budget to domestic industry in 2022-23, a not insignificant increase from the current fiscal's 58% target. The tariff rationalizations, which cover a broad swath of items ranging from electronics, gems, and jewelry, chemicals, inputs used by MSME units, and project and capital goods, could, however, have varying short term impacts. Specifically, the move to phase out the concessional rates in capital goods and project imports gradually and apply a moderate tariff of 7.5% could, in the short term, hurt infrastructure projects and the setting up of new manufacturing capacity. Some proposed exemptions for advanced machinery notwithstanding, the minister has tried to address the raging debate over how to deal with virtual currencies by adopting a twin track approach. On the one hand, Mrs. Sitaraman proposes to introduce in the coming fiscal year a central bank digital currency that she posits will impart a big boost to the digital economy and lead to a more efficient and cheaper currency management system. The RBI issued digital rupee would leverage blockchain and other related technologies. In parallel, she intends to tax income from the transfer of any virtual digital assessed at the rate of 30%, with deduction allowed only for the cost of acquisition. It remains to be seen if the government's efforts at bringing the mushrooming trade and investment in a multiplexity of virtual digital assets, including cryptocurrencies, under the tax net would have a salutary impact besides adding a revenue stream to the exchequer. The minister's latest budget also skips mention of the assessed monetization plan mentioned in the last budget and shows a sharp decline in capital receipts from disinvestment. With just 65,000 crore budgeted from assessed sale for fiscal 2023 as opposed to rupees 78,000 crores As per the revised estimates for the current fiscal, the minister has had to increase gross borrowings to rupees 14.95 lakh crore, a 24% increase from the current fiscal's budget estimate, but a far sharper 43% jump from the revised estimate of rupees 10.46 lakh crore. The resource crunch manifest in the proposed higher debt issuance is ultimately bound to get more acute in the days ahead, given in the budget's lack of growth invigorating proposals. फुल स्टॉप्स। स्टूडेंट ये आपके 1000 वर्ड से भी कुछ ज़्यादा वर्ड्स हैं, इसको आप टाइप कीजिए, टाइप करने के बाद इसको आप मैच कीजिए। धन्यवाद।